Man, it just went down. Gervonta Tank Davis. On the other hand, we have Terence Bud Crawford. The two have been at it all day. Was actually going to make this video, and I'm very transparent with my audience. I was going to make this video earlier, but I've been doing this for a while. And what I notice is sometimes when the fighters are at each other's throats, as is the case with Tank Davis and Terence Crawford, it's sometimes better to just let it, as a content creator, let it subside and then do my video after. Because if I do a video and then Tank tweets something else after I did the video, and then I do another video, and then Terence Crawford says something after I do that video, then I'm stuck with all this content and all this work. So I let them argue. I'm not even going to go. It's so much. I'm not even going to go through every single one. I got stuff to do. You guys got stuff to do. But I want to let you know about the situation. And a lot of people want to know my thoughts. I mean, my thoughts, that's between them. They have had beef in the past where they talk about each other. I don't think they've ever been cool. And it kind of makes sense because Crawford's a big brother to Shakur and also Keyshawn, two guys who frequently clout chase Tank's name. Now, I got to be transparent here. Terence Crawford started this. Make no mistake about it. And I'm going to explain why in this video. The reason I'm saying that is because Tank lashed out at Riyadh season in Turkey. Literally, he did not say the name of Terence Crawford. It had nothing to do with Terence Crawford specifically. He was basically saying Riyadh season, the guys that are fighting on there, they aren't big in America. I get it popping in America. People want to see me in America, and they have to grovel at Turkey's feet, kiss the ring, etc. Crawford, in turn, felt like that included him or whatever, and subliminally dissed Gervonta Davis. And he said something to the effect of, oh, I guess somebody is mad they wasn't invited to the Ring Magazine gala, right? Because Tank was like, this wasn't inclusive for boxing. Y'all keep saying Turkey's good for boxing, blah, blah, blah. So everybody knew who Crawford was referring to. And then now it's just been bow, 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 this. And that's kind of what it is. So again, it got low. I want to advise you. There were things said about Crawford's family members and stuff like that. Some people feel kids and family are off limits. Some people are from the streets. They say all's fair in love and war. Let me know what you believe. If you are beefing with somebody and it's wartime, are there any things off limit? Or if you're a battle rapper even, if somebody starts talking about a deceased relative or a live relative, your kids, is that in battle rap or beef, like rap beef, battle rap beef, or street, like this, two celebrity guys? Are there off limits, or is it just like, hey, you started it, it's just like wherever you want to go, you want to go? I want to know from the fans, like, how you view that, because I know different people feel different stuff. Terence Crawford said somebody's mad they didn't get invited. Tank said, and I still make more than you. Right? So he flexed on him, which he's been doing all day. He says, Crawford said, first thing a dumb rich person say to another rich person is, I got more money than you. I bet you I own more investments than you. And I don't owe $1 in taxes. Wink emoji. You can't buy nothing I can't buy that I want, sir. And that effect, I'm just reading it verbatim. And that effect. Let's see who money lasts the longest, smart guy. Now, I'm just going to be real. That's kind of a weak response from Crawford, because I do believe Tank makes more money than Crawford. He's done the bigger fights, bigger gates, bigger star, etc. Second, you're going to be 38 this year. You're 37, so you're pushing 40. Tank just turned 30 maybe. And you're arguing with somebody that's been in the game in a lot shorter space of time, who's almost 10 years younger than you, and this is who you're competing against. So theoretically, you probably should be more ahead of somebody that had a late start compared to you or is much younger. You know what I mean? 2, Tank says, I still make more money than you, and you put this long paragraph. Usually when somebody is like keeping it short and like, you suck and da-da-da, look at your last fight, and it's just like one sentence, and then you got to respond with this, not necessarily a good look, because you're putting in more effort than kind of Tank is. But you said a dumb rich person say to another rich person, like, is this a thing? A dumb rich person talking to a rich person? I never even heard anyone say that. He says, I got more money than you. I bet you I own more investments. How would you possibly know that? Do you think Tank is, if he's made more money than you think his team, people around him, he's incapable and it's inconceivable that he has investments too in a portfolio, or he bought a block? I don't recall Terence Crawford buying a block. You know what I mean? And he says, I don't know a dollar in taxes. Are you the IRS? Again, how do you know anything about this man's investment portfolio and or how much he owes or doesn't owe in taxes? It's just weird. Real weird. Tank responded, y'all think Bud, he didn't say Bud, but he said y'all think he chasing greatness. He's not that. That's what he has to do to make decent money, uck boy. Crawford says, by the way, little guy, don't speak too soon because you definitely not making more than me. Fight who you been fighting. That's why you talking about fighting Ryan again. Again, I know the Bud Buddies, they're going to say, oh, Crawford demolished him. That's pure Tank hate, because I'm breaking it down and I'm being fair. These aren't really good responses from Crawford. He says, I bet I have more investments than you, and I don't owe the IRS. There's no report from any accredited sources saying that Tank is like going to jail, Wesley Snipes, the Isley brothers, over IRS problems. So at best, that's a rumor. How would you know about someone else's investments? And Tank said, I make more than you. Either he does or he doesn't. Either you think he does or he doesn't. You fought Errol Spence and didn't crack $1 million. Tank in the same year fought Ryan Garcia for no belts. You and Errol fought for all belts, undisputed, a longer anticipated fight because Errol's been respected. He was collecting the belts at welterweight. You always had the WBO since your first fight with Jeff Horn, and y'all fought and it didn't even crack $1 million. Tank fought Ryan and made 1.4 million pay-per-view buys. So, and we know he's doing these big live gates with Frank Martin. I think it was like 15 million. He's setting records at the Barclay with Rolly. Come on. And I'll make a separate video about, but Tank was cooking. A lot of people praising Turkey in Riyadh season, but y'all aren't watching the press conferences. It's not making no noise. This Crawford beefing with Tank made more noise than the press conference that Riyadh season did this week. So it's like, what are we talking about? And the other thing that I thought was very weird in Crawford's reply is he said something like, don't be so sure that you make more money. That's why you're mentioning Ryan. Tank beat Ryan, made a lot of money, so that's a good business decision. So why would he not want to fight Ryan? Like, how is that an insult? Like, if you're roasting somebody, that's not really a roast. Meanwhile, you have Crawford calling out a man 2-3 divisions between last year and this year, 2 or 3 divisions ahead of him or above him in Canelo, where you would have to give in to all of Canelo's demands to make that fight. A lot of people think with the weight, it's kind of unreasonable. So what's more roast worthy? Tank is calling out a guy he already fought that has a big brand and one of the biggest names in boxing. His brand probably grew after the Devin Haney fight, good or bad. And Tank's saying he wants to rematch him because he knows he can make a lot of money and he already beat him. Or Bud Crawford, who's calling out Canelo 2-3 divisions higher than what he's been competing at. I mean, what are we talking about? So I don't see how that's a bad thing to have Tank calling out Ryan. Meanwhile, to make money, you might have to fight Canelo at a division you've never fought at, and you haven't even fought at the division below that. So what is really laughable and what is really funny, besides, you're kind of proving Tank right and Boxing Ego right, because you got to do all these things to make money. Tank is fighting Lamont Roach and could get a crazy bag off of that because he'll probably set a record or do very well with a fight like that. Bud Crawford's old promoter, Bob Arum, who he spent the most time in his whole career with, Bob Arum says, I could have bought a house in Beverly Hills or Malibu or wherever with the amount of money I wasted and lost on Terence Crawford. These are not my opinions. These are facts that Bob Arum said. So it's proven from your old promoter that you're not a hot commodity. There were reports that Turkey in Riyadh season lost upwards of $10 million with the Eminem show, Crawford Madrimov show, right? No promoter is talking about Tank saying, hey, Tank's bad business. When we work with Tank, we lose a ton of money. But that's what they're saying about you, at least your last promoter. And now you're burning Turkey's pockets up trying to, get cashed out late in your career, which is all what Tank is saying. As far as the part where Tank said about Crawford's family, I'm not going to read it like verbatim, but basically he says Terence Crawford has 8 kids and his girl is 380 pounds. So yeah, Crawford got to work hard and work overtime to support his family situation. Let me know in the comment section what's too far when you're beefing with somebody. Because some fans are like, oh, that's mean. How could you? You know, we live in a cancel culture, so some people are like angry, and then some people are laughing. Some people are like indifferent, whatever. Let me know what's too far in your eyes. That's all I have to say about that. I don't have no add-ons to say nothing about somebody's family. But yeah, and then other than that, Crawford, the other part that I seen was Crawford said something like, I got bigger fish to fry, meaning Canelo. And then he says, you should fight. When you going to stop ducking Shakur and Keyshawn? Listen, again, these are not great comebacks. I know Crawford's an amazing fighter, but in the roast game is either good or bad. These aren't good comebacks. I don't know anyone. Keyshawn's not even a big name for real, outside of hardcore boxing fans. And I mean, who believes that Shakur will beat Tank? Maybe a handful of people. Tank is looking like the man. I do like Shakur fighting Floyd Schofield, even though I'm picking Shakur in that fight. Some people believe that Schofield has what it takes to pull the upset, but it will be a guy with power, athletic, a guy that knows him from sparring. Shakur got to look like an all-star, especially when you got Crawford pitching that he should be fighting Tank. Because here's the thing, and a lot of people aren't going to keep it real like me for whatever reason. A lot of low-quality content out there. The bottom line is this, is Tank is the A-side. Shakur, in my opinion, has not looked the same at lightweight that he looked at 130 and 126. He looked a lot better. Shakur is not really a knockout artist either. So if you're not knocking out Artem Hartunians coming off a loss and layoff of the world, I'm not thinking you're probably going to knock out Tank Davis. That's just my personal opinion. So I guess the path for victory for Shakur would try to outbox Tank. And then the other thing is a lot of southpaws have problems with other southpaws. Frank Martin, Tank, you seen the fight. Errol Crawford was fighting southpaw the whole fight. It's just a difficult matchup. So on top of Tank having the power and counterpunching and athleticism and more explosive than Shakur, they're both southpaws, which name somebody even remotely as good as Tank Davis that Shakur's fought that was a southpaw, right? Just name somebody. Because Frank Martin's a southpaw. He's way bigger than Tank, and he's a cerebral, good fighter who has more power to me than Shakur Stevenson. And Tank detonated and destroyed him with 2 punches when it all came down to it. We've never seen, name one southpaw that Shakur has ever fought in his entire career that is better than Frank Martin, that Shakur did what Tank did to Frank Martin. I don't think you can find one. But you guys know more than me. You know, the fans, they're going to, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. Oh. So that's my challenge to you. Name a fighter that was a southpaw and the outcome was Tank Frank Martin. I'm just curious. And I can't wait to see if you could do it. Valdez, orthodox fighter. I can't even think of many southpaws that Shakur fought. I mean, he fought Jamel Herring. Pretty sharp performance, but he ain't sleep Jamel Herring like that. And then now they saying Jamel Herring got arrested and, you know, alcohol abuse and, you know, I don't know. So I don't even know what you guys rate that win. And again, that wasn't at 35 where you clearly would have to fight Tank. So that's the latest with Crawford beefing with Tank. I'm sure they'll continue going at it. What Tank said was true about people begging Turkey and having to go over there to make money. That's absolutely true. I believe in that. And I don't think he lied. As far as the talking about the family and stuff when you're in the midst of beefing, that's subjective. Let me know what you guys think there. I don't got no real thoughts on that, but we'll see. We'll see what's next. Tank already got a fight. Crawford, I guess, is trying to work on the fight. We'll see. Peace.